The Square Ball Podcast.
Well, hello to you, the Square Ball weekly update where we'll round up the week's news. Dan here with Michael and Moscow in a show that's brought to you in association with Levi Solicitors, who will offer you a 10% discount on your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. For services such as...
wills, probate.
This came as a shock that you said that.
Conveyancing, 3, and then litigation, residential property disputes, commercial disputes. Mm-hmm. Any others?
You're the expert.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to involve others.
Don't want to just make it all about you,
No,
do
exactly.
you? Yeah, that's very good. Have you ever had a residential dispute? No, I don't mean with like falling out with your wife. I mean like with your next door neighbour.
Not when they weren't fully legal.
No.
It was annoying because they were annoyed that I'd replaced a bit of their guttering that they'd refused to pay for.
Right.
That was it, really. It's not very exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted it.
Did you not fancy going legal on them?
I couldn't be bothered.
No.
It was about 100 quid of the work. I just thought I'll just pay it.
Right.
But then they were annoyed at that too. What can you do? It was the guttering was leaking onto my house.
Yes.
And it was a shared bit of gutter, but they didn't want to anyway.
So would you
Let's not get
recommend
into it.
anybody else in that situation to just be like, not bothered and don't bother getting any legal advice from a solicitor, just leave it?
Well, for 100 quid, probably not worth it. But if it had been a bigger thing.
The kind of bread and butter work that would keep a local solicitor's firm in business, perhaps.
And sponsoring a local podcast.
As the circle of life, isn't it?
The circle of law.
If they'd have been changing the boundaries, I'd have been onto a solicitor.
If they'd been trimming your hedge down, they'd have been held to pay.
Well, I might have allowed that, actually. I'd be quite grateful.
So what we're establishing is that our sponsors, Levi Solicitors, will be happy to help anybody with any legal issues they have, as long as they meet kind of a moderate level of non-triviality. Anything lower than guttering, they'll just hang up.
If it's a minor issue, I'll just come sort it for you.
So if you have a non-trivial legal issue that you need addressing, levisolicitors.co.uk. It's not quite as catchy as we'll... I don't think people are going to be shouting that at you in the Lowfields
The
tunnel.
courts are busy. They don't need me in there talking about guttering, do they? That's all I'm saying.
levisolicitors.co.uk/the Square Ball. If you are watching the video version, then you have been treated already to the shirt that Michael is wearing, our brand new Lowfields tunnel shirt.
It's nice, isn't it?
Look at that.
Made by us and Admiral.
Yes.
Just to really get it across to the audio people that this is a football shirt.
If you are on the audio version, it is a shirt that replicates the tile pattern in the Lowfields tunnel, the underpass under the motorway.
The sadly neglected Lowfields tunnel.
Yes. It's the one where you're like the little troll under the bridge, aren't you? When you sell your wares under there. Selling the mag and the merch and stuff. So people do come down there on a match day and shout Will's probate conveyancing at you.
We do, in the soft blue light that stops people injected in there.
Yeah.
It's a nice tunnel.
It really shows the shirt up well, though, the soft blue lights.
It does.
Yeah.
Should we get some of those, the anti-drug lights, and just shine them on you relentlessly? Because we know what you like. I'm surprised you're even showing your inner arms, knowing what you're up to in your spare time. But I guess you're going between the toes now. This went off piece.
This is really dark.
Shirts are nice, though, aren't they?
Yes, the shirts are nice.
They are available from thesquareball.net. TSB Plus members discount on there as well. And great Christmas present for people who like loud football shirts.
It's a beauty. There's other stuff on there too.
Yep. Got the
retro
new
shirts.
Yeah, which celebrates the Lowfields tunnel in all its many years of
The
glory.
wares themselves.
Yeah.
It's got lots of logos and images from the magazine's entire history.
From the frankly shambolic jumble of logos that have been used over the years.
There's some beauty. Some of the mid-90s ones I really like. Down the side of the back print, it just says Leeds football with a couple of arrows in between, and I've always liked that one. So I'm glad that we've put that, among others, on the T-shirt. And the front logo on the
breast, on the breast.
Yeah, has the logo off the very first issue, the one with Vinnie Jones on the cover, and up top is the Square Ball logo, and we've brought that back for the cover, the front of the T-shirt, and then all the other ones on the back.
Other point to make as well, I know we had hawking shit off here, but we'll
get on with other things soon.
Hawking good shit off. The charity calendar, limited number of those, is available now. We've taken heed of everything that everyone said in years past and said we don't want players on our wall who no longer play for us, so we've put in classic illustrations.
I mean, there's a small risk
chance
with the January transfer window because it's based on great goals. So Tony Yeboah's goal is in there, Pablo Hernandez against Swansea. I should clarify, it's the Liverpool goal because Tony Yeboah scored so many. that were great. There's Lee Chapman against Bournemouth. And yeah, so February is Crescencio Summerville's winner at Anfield, because we felt like there should be kind of one up-to-date player, but there is like the January transfer window. We like risk. We like the risk.
Yeah.
It's kind of tempting fate. It's almost a challenge. Angus Kinnear now, if he doesn't want us to raise lots of money for the Leeds Cancer Centre, selling this charity calendar, sell Summerville in January and ruin the whole thing. So it's just
Good challenge.
It's just up to him how he feels about it. If a bid arrives, £100 million for Crescencio Summerville, he's got a choice to make. Does he displease all the people who've bought a calendar to support a cancer charity, or does he take the money and sell Summerville and leave everybody disappointed in February, which Dan did realise before we went to print is a leap year this year, so we added the other day.
29 days in it.
The other thing that has been taken on board from previous feedback to a certain extent is there is now just about enough room to write appointments and other such things on what hopefully, now that the leap year has been accounted for, a correct calendar. We have had...
We've all checked the dates, I think, haven't we?
No, you have,
I
so
haven't either.
I took your word for it. Once
so it's on
you
you.
spotted February, it's fine. We have had people in the past have not complained, because it's a charity calendar and it looks brilliant and the artwork is always nice, but suggested it might be nice if it was like some practical use. So it will be of some practical use, as well as just beautiful and supporting Leeds Cancer Centre.
Yes. So every penny of profit on those calendars goes to Leeds Cancer Centre. And it's the Breast Cancer Action Group, isn't it, I believe, as well, specifically. So you can get those at thesquareball.net. Those, just to say, the calendars, you have to buy them because of the way that they're packaged and sent out. They're a standalone item. You can't get them with other stuff. So if you're confused when you're trying to buy them and you're trying to shove other stuff in your basket, doesn't work.
Basically,
Calendar on its own.
buy loads of calendars.
Yep.
And then check out and buy loads of other stuff.
Yes. That's what we're after. Yeah. And I will say this, a little teaser. They're not there yet. Huge clamour for Christmas jumpers coming for you in a couple of weeks. That's all I will say. A couple of weeks away from what I think is probably the best Christmas jumper that's been made in the city of Leeds. And that's all I'll say for now. Let's get on with the show.
Yeah,
Let's
we
get
need
on
to do
with the show.
some other stuff, don't we?
Yeah, talk about Leeds rather than just ourselves. So we have recorded slightly out of order this week because it's half term. The schools have been off this week, and Phil Hay, with his showbiz demands, I'm not working Thursday or Friday. Record before that, or I'm not doing it. And you'll hear from my lawyers.
So it was a minor dispute. We sorted it out.
Yeah, we just said, we'll record on Wednesday or whatever. So we've done that. So we recorded Phil before the press conference. Phil should be out before this, so you'll know that.
It's very confusing.
It is very confusing, yeah. Anyway, so we can now react to the presser ahead of Leicester, which is happening on Friday.
That's my reaction,
There's your reaction,
to
yeah.
the presser. Is that?
Is Junior Firpo back?
Well, he's somewhat back
Right.
for now.
Define back.
Is he back or is he set back?
Right.
He's been in team training for 10 days, I think he said. So he's essentially...
Not good enough to feature.
He said, but this week was his first proper full training week. And every session is good for him. He's closer and closer. No setback in the last days, he actually said. So the opposite. And he is available if we call him up for the game day squad before the international break. So we have more options at left back if you choose to look at it that way. If you choose to be cynical and mean, then you can say that the left back, our left back situation has worsened. I would not be one of those people.
Well, you Moscow, you've written an article that it's funny because I was thinking about this. I thought, because I always have this idea in my head, I think I'd quite like to write a thing about a thing, and I never get around to it because I'm so busy with all this stuff. But I thought, just nice celebrating how happy Jorginho Ruta is. Then I woke up the day after and you'd written it. And I was like, oh, good. I'm pleased about that. Just celebrating the joy of it. And maybe that's what we can extract from this season is the joy of seeing Junior Firpo gambling up and down the left-hand touchline like a newborn spring lamb.
Yeah, and after
rejuvenated and having a nice time in the Championship.
After the Huddersfield game, we've seen kind of the standard for fullbacks in the Championship. So no matter when people are like, Junior Firpo, he couldn't get into a non-league team, he's all this kind of stuff. You know, Tom Edwards played 2 seasons consecutively for New York Red Bulls. You know this?
I do. I was looking at his wiki because I noticed he spent 2 years in New York, then he was sent to Barnsley and Huddersfield as punishment.
But it was two separate loans. He played he was a first team pick for New York Red Bulls in MLS for a season on loan, and then for the next season they took him again and gave him another full season. So it fed into some of the post Jesse Marsch, Victor Orta anxiety, where it's like, hey, that style of football, the Red Bull stuff, let's get some guys from Austria and America and it's going to be great.
Maybe that's what confused him, though, Moscow, because he looked very, very not at home out wide when Jorginho Rutter was kicking the ball past him and then running off the pitch to go get it. I mean, he would be thinking, why is that guy running all the way over there off the white line? Surely we play another 20 or 30 yards
where the
inside.
goal is.
Yeah, where the goal is in the middle.
We were a long way from the goal frame at that point. But if that's the standard, like Firpo's better than him, isn't he?
Yeah, I would say every player I've ever seen is better than him. And I would suggest to him a move from the full sugar Red Bull to do a sugar-free one.
Right.
Just as a professional tip for him, because he was a big boy, wasn't he? Watching him chase him back.
He's enjoying his life.
I don't think he was.
Not that part.
I don't think he was enjoying the football part. He really, really struggled.
Maybe it's just comfort eating of an evening to make himself feel better about it. And that's fine. And we're not going to judge him, are we?
It reminded me of the Stephen Craney days.
Speaking of Jesse Marsch, are you prepared to get on board the new hype train? The obvious solution to Man United's problems, I think.
Oh, right. Oh, there.
Yeah.
Chris Armas knows the club, so he could go back.
Yeah,
as well.
I think it's the solution to their problems. This Ten Hag chump found out when he's not playing managing in a Mickey Mouse league, isn't he? Jesse, however, already has pre-existing Premier League experience.
He's saying he could keep them up.
I'm saying he might keep them up.
I bet Jesse Marsch has met Mickey Mouse as well, and I bet it went really well.
Where is Chris Armas? Do we still pay
I was going
him?
to say Mickey Mouse is at Disney World. I thought you were going to ask about Mickey Mouse.
I don't think he's still on gardening leave because I don't think we gave him that long of a
No, maybe not.
deal.
Although Jesse is still knocking about in Harrogate, last we heard, isn't he? Because he'll be on the club's payroll.
Jesse's off on his round the world. Well, he's been off on his round the world tour again. Remember, he popped up in Italy doing the Champions League TV stuff. I'm pretty sure Chris Armas is bucketed off somewhere else. Bless him.
Anyway,
poor fella.
Speaking of Chris Armas, Christmas. Did you see there's another...
I'm glad you explained that because I wouldn't have got it.
Yeah. There's the game on Boxing Day, and there's been uproar from fans groups saying how it's on Christmas Eve. Sorry,
the Man United fixture game.
Exactly.
Isn't it? We played Man United,
but my objection isn't that it messes with fans.
It's that it ruins our history.
Exactly.
We had that as our thing, wasn't it?
That was our one game that was ever played then, and it was the best day ever, and it was the best Christmas
Eve, 1995, and we beat Man United.
And they've ruined it now. What have they put on? Some
Chelsea Wolves,
some
isn't it?
fucking dog shit they've put on instead. Why?
That nobody cares about.
Respect the history of Tony Yeboah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, I was going to say, you were mentioning Angus Kinnear before there, Moscow, further up in the show, about Maury Eisenberg. He's got a new friend to hang about with in the boardroom. Chief Operating Officer. I think this is not new news to anybody watching this show or listening to this show, but we missed it in between recording the shows last week and it got announced just after we recorded. So, worth probably touching on and just saying that Angus Kinnear's got a friend to join him and he's excited to welcome Maury to the team. His leadership experience and energy will be central to shaping and delivering our plans to fulfil the huge potential of our great club both on and off the pitch.
Yeah, it's very much in keeping with Maury's own LinkedIn profile. I mean, it's easy to read this stuff out and wonder what's going on. He is a big picture thinker who digs into data and applies first principles to shape direction and solve complex problems. Skilled at tuning processes and systems to streamline operations and drive efficiency. So that's good, isn't it? It's good he can do those things. Absolutely no idea what he will be doing on a day-to-day basis.
Data and that.
But he's an accomplished commercial leader with broad experience setting vision and delivering outcomes through business transformation and hypergrowth. So not just
Hypergrowth.
growth, hypergrowth.
That's like when they started renaming roller coasters, not like there's a super roller coaster, then there's a hyper coaster. Now there's giga coasters, isn't there? Yeah.
We've come a long way from the big one at Liverpool, at Blackpool.
One of the pools.
It was that big.
It was in one of the pools.
The ultimate.
It stretched across. He started, if you will go back to 1997.
The ultimate's gone from Lightwater Valley. I know it's kind of, we're getting into heathen talk here because we're all Team Flamingo land now, aren't we? But Lightwater Valley, the ultimate is no more. Used to be the longest roller coaster in the world, boys and girls.
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah. No
Great
more.
days.
Yeah. Decommissioned. Anyway, sorry, Moscow, go ahead.
Yeah, it's all right. He started, if you want to do his CV, 1997. He was an associate consultant at Bain and
Can
Company.
I just request that you do this a really abridged version?
Yeah, he did some stuff. It kind of just gets to the bit where I'm kind of intrigued when he was chief executive officer in 2006 for Spleak Media Network. You don't get many instant messaging startup called Spleak.
Right.
Quite like the sound of Spleak.
Did someone buy that out then at any point, or is it just folded?
Well, he grew the audience to over 10 million users, so that's pretty good, isn't it? And then he went to Cox Automotive. Nothing funny about that.
No.
And his 49ers, so 49ers, what does Teespring do?
T-shirts,
Yeah, they do.
probably.
For NFL and NBA, so he knows T-shirts. He launched merchandising on YouTube, Twitch, and Eventbrite, very much as we have just launched merchandising on YouTube ourselves. So when this chump messes things up, Angus, come and get us. We'll sort things out. And then he actually
Will we?
Not only does he have a...
Or will we make it worse?
Tesla is obviously the headline. Everyone's like, he was at Tesla. But I think it's more significant that he actually worked for LinkedIn. He was a global sales operations senior director for Learning and Glint. What's Glint? Anyone know what Glint is?
It's that stuff you get in your pockets, isn't it?
Learning and Glint. I mean, I know what learning is. I would now like to learn what Glint is.
Well, we're all on a journey of discovery today, aren't we? This is exciting.
Yeah. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to find out because it's all it's very complicated.
I was going to say, if you Google Glint, there's going to be loads of stuff, isn't there?
So he did all that. And then he went back to 49ers Enterprises in August. And I think that's probably a precursor to him becoming our chief operating officer, which I think his first task will be to...
Operate.
I was thinking
Operate on Junior Furpo.
probably to get a slightly bigger desk than the chief executive officer and then just kind of sit and stare at him.
Do we know what... Isn't he under Kinnear?
That might be Angus's.
I heard. So he got the job, eh? No.
Angus's desire.
Structurally, I thought that was.
Well, one of them's going to
the case
execute
for him.
and one of them's going to operate.
Very different
Yeah.
jobs.
How that will actually...
I wonder if the Saudis have that in Newcastle.
But I think this is where you get in with the uneasy atmosphere that I think they will both be anxious to avoid and instead maintain a healthy working relationship in which Maury does not come in and completely trash everything that Angus has been working on for the last 5 years in the job. Lots of that thing is like, I've found out about a thing, I've done a big presentation about why it sucked, and then Angus is going to sit there and go like, that was...
You do get the sense, though, that...
That's the thing I really liked.
You know, one of the messages that Phil's consistently put out is that...
I'm not doing a podcast this week.
Yeah, it was all very much, and still is, a championship club behind the scenes and probably needs a lot more bodies doing a lot more stuff to do the growth that they probably need behind the scenes, just modernise everything. And no doubt the stadium follows as well because he's been charged with that. That's part of his remit, isn't it? Making it all fancy and that. Interesting, I was watching the NFL. There was a game. You ever heard of the 49ers?
Yes.
Sports team in the NFL? Yeah. They had a game. I watched a bit of that. Couldn't help but look and see a lot of people shielding their eyes from the sun in the Levi's Stadium.
Listen, they couldn't have known it'd be sunny in California.
Well, you know, there is a truth, actually, in the fact that, I read it on the internet, so it must be true, that the Levi's Stadium is built as it is because it was supposed to be further up in San Francisco itself, but they fell out with the council there or whatever. The plans had already been drawn up, so they just chucked it in Santa Clara instead, which has slightly different weather conditions, like it's a bit mistier up San Fran way. Can't confirm all of this because I've not been, but that's what I read on the internet. So they just put the same plan in place, but just 30 or 40 miles south, whatever it is.
Should we go without a roof
In here?
when we redo it? No, the stadium. But corporate seats and the big corporate area doesn't have a roof on it. I think it'd be nice to see.
Yeah, although they do have a fancy living roof. We've mentioned this before, haven't we, about Levi's Stadium? The main stand there that's got all the corporate boxes in it has got it's got grass and that on top, and they grow ingredients for like the restaurants and stuff. And you've said before, not going to work next to the M621.
No, all diesel particulate all over your salad.
Just poisoning your herbs. Yeah, I might help to clean the air. Who knows?
So Glint appears to be a product from Microsoft Viva Glint, which is part of their It comes as part of Microsoft 365 and then some add-ons into whatever the Viva suite is. I don't know what the difference is between all these things, but it's kind of like an employee feedback platform. So you can create a culture of feedback and action. And so,
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah, Murray's job was just selling it, basically. Sorry, it was driving adoption of tools to upskill talent, but yeah, he was selling it.
Right.
It's like buy some glint was basically what he was doing for how long did 2 years?
This is what Michael's just spent the first 10 minutes of this podcast doing. Buy some stuff off
Buy
us.
some shit. It's really, I'm not saying that Murray has padded out his LinkedIn profile and pulled the wool over the 49ers' eyes.
Welcome to Leeds, Murray.
He did work there before. So the backstory, as you were mentioning, he was their vice president of business operations for 3 years, 2012 to 2015. He led the business operations and analytics through the development and opening of Levi's stadiums. And then, he doubled merchandise sales. He really is just like, it seems to be he's selling T-shirts. Maybe we need to hire him.
If he puts working Wi-Fi in there, he's my guy.
He set KPIs and developed dashboards to analyse quantitative and qualitative data, deriving insights that increased year-round engagement and elevated fan experience.
I noticed that Michael's just glazing over.
Did he develop dashboards in his time at Tesla?
At Tesla, I think he was just selling cars. Well, he was director of global used vehicles, so he was just selling used cars at Tesla.
You know, when you were at ITV, Michael, did you enjoy KPIs?
I avoided them.
How?
Because mine would have been bad. Just listen. Let's dig into the numbers. It's not about the numbers. I'm more of a vibes man.
He's in the
all right, Jesse.
He's in the great position because he set the KPIs for the new stadium and elevating the fan experience. So he was able to say, like, what if we sell 3 more hot dogs, that'll be fine. He sets the KPI, so nobody can really. And then again at Tesla, he reset the objectives. He was like, what if we don't sell any cars? And then we'll easily hit the target. And everyone's like, the guy's a genius. We've hit all the targets. So he can, he's got the great experience of just deciding how good he wants to be at stuff and then being that good.
It is an absolute truism that you never want, if you're doing well at work, you never want to do too well because then they start to move your targets up, don't they? You just want to very slightly exceed whatever you did last year, and then, for God's sake, stop.
You preach to the converted here.
Mate, I know. I learned all this from you, the master. So welcome to Leeds anyway, Maury. Hope you have a nice time and do some good stuff.
And we're getting more people as well.
Mm-hmm.
Communications assistant.
Yep. So comms team.
Media.
Growing.
Person. Yeah. And I assume off the back...
Are you in for this one?
Well, I assume this is off the back of seeing Brendan Aronson play for us last year. We're getting a head of physical development.
In fact, they've just advertised that off the back of his birthday photos with having his plate of cookies. It's like, dear God, that's an adult male.
Did no one feed him at all? Bless him. He's having a difficult time, isn't he, still, Brendan? But, enjoy Berlin.
Yeah. Why not? And that's actually academy physical development, isn't it? Which neatly segues into the under-21s, who almost beat Liverpool. Didn't though, did they? Was that in that European Cup thing that we've been playing, in that European Premier League knockout thing?
No.
Right, because as you were saying, like Liverpool's obviously not in England, so...
Yeah, this was just standard league.
I'm recycling your jokes
I know.
Like Wrexham, Swansea and Cardiff, Liverpool have the exception that they're allowed. I don't know, where's the place where everybody goes and gets married up north?
Gretna Green?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not there, is it? It's near there.
Gretna.
I don't know.
Gretna Green and the two separate places.
Don't know what I'm talking about, really, so we won't dwell on it. But
I'm not doing it.
It is Gretna, he's right.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of another place.
Dumfries.
There's a place on the border between Scotland and England. It's a bit of both and neither. And it's the place where there was kind of the apocryphal story that it's still at war with
Coldstream
from World War II. You could Google it and save me, but you're not going to. So instead of telling you what happened in the under-21s, I'm just going to look into that and you can all go bollocks.
We drew 2 all, didn't we?
What, with Gretna?
It's as much as I know. Yes.
Yeah.
Then Sean McGirt got married, but he's over 16, so he didn't even need his parents' permission. But he went up there because he thought it'd be romantic.
Yeah.
So that's what he did.
Excellent. Yeah. And LUFC women almost had a great comeback, very much in keeping with the brand. This one lost 4-3 at Halifax. Were they 4-0 down at one point, or was it 3-0?
Yeah, 4.
And then so the great comeback started, but never finished.
This was
Oh, well.
an FA Cup game, Halifax.
Oh, they're in the division above, aren't they?
Are in the division above. They used to be Brigus, but they rebranded. They've had some investment from
Oh, is that them?
Germany. It is them.
From where? Sorry, where's Brigus?
Brigus.
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 Brigus, yeah. Brig House.
This is the second. Strangely, the second time today I'm going to reference this. That a band was played on the John Peel show a while ago, and many years ago.
Because he
described them.
I was going to say it must have been a while ago.
He said they were from a Brig House, and they wrote in and said, "Next, it's Brigus. There is no such place as Brig House." So it's them. So they're in the division above, pretty good, but got into a bit of a flap as Leeds came charging back at them from 4-0 down.
This feels a bit sneaky because, to my mind, I'm just looking at the map here. So for anybody who is not from the area, Brighouse is a town roughly between Huddersfield and Halifax. That's not Halifax itself, is it?
Not really.
It's not Halifax proper.
I think they moved, though. That's the thing.
Right.
So I think they moved into Fax.
So these are like dirty franchise scum, sort of thing.
Basically. Somebody needs to just combine all the local teams and give us the Collect Huddersfax FC that the people want. I've still not found this fucking...
Berwick upon Tweed is what you're looking for.
Is that it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, other side of the country, but that's not where people get married.
No.
But we have been passing it between the countries for hundreds of years.
I searched Scotland, war with Russia, and
There we
Berwick
go.
upon Tweed came up, so...
Right, and it is Northumberland. So I was close.
The Square Ball Podcast.